Well, it's not a tough act to follow. But it's an honor to follow the students because that's the reason why we have jobs at this institution. Because our students need an education. And why are we here today? As noted in the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives communication that we sent out to our members today, 6 unions, 1 voice. I cannot say it any better than to quote in part from Lynn Fernandez's article. The 6 unions have realized that it is time for a collective response. Although they represent different constituents, the unions are all part of it. For this reason, they feel compelled to come together and speak with one voice. These unions are setting an excellent example for unions across Canada. It's time to speak out with one voice for the good of our larger community, for the sake of democracy. Now, from an A.E.S.E.S point of view, and our in excess of 2,000 members, it's because of the many initiatives the current administration has brought in through resource optimization that have resulted in contracting out, the changing of clerical systems, and reorganization of the workplace at a very rapid pace. So therefore resulting in the overloading of our members with new systems and the legitimate concerns they have about the impacts on their jobs going forward. And software systems that I hear about all the time, the two that I hear about all the time are Concur and A.E.S.E.S, how frustrated they are with them. But don't worry, ask an expert. Oh, wait a minute, that's you. And there is more to come, and I bet you the administration will tell you that it's epic. Contracting out the management of caretaking services and the photocopier printer services despite staff objections. On my walkthrough on Monday morning, I would have to say I see no improvement in cleanliness if that was the objective of the change. As to the inefficiencies of centralized printing, that is how it was when I came to this university. It was inefficient, and they changed it to decentralized printing. Forgive me. My fingers are not functioning. I'm having trouble with my paper. Sorry about that. It's cold. Well, I got.
Hurry up, we'll contract that out too.
I can't handle the cold. Shared services and help and solutions. I hear criticisms of this all of the time. And I've heard criticisms in the past regarding IT, but nothing like I'm hearing on this initiative. I'd say this is a case of if it isn't broken, don't fix it. Maybe it just needed a little tuning. Is it jobs or is it roles? Is it no one will lose the job or no jobs will be lost? Some time ago I managed to obtain vague clarification from the president. I would say it is no jobs will be lost, but there will be new roles, but you will not necessarily qualify for that role. When the search was on for a new president and the concept of business was raised, I stressed that the university is not a business. There are many articles that you can find on the critical approach to the fact of trying to turn universities into business. By moving more and more to run the university as a business, the administration is changing the original intent of a university. Since the 1990s, the students' experience has been moving away from the all-encompassing experience it was originally intended to be to a fractured part-time experience. Let's slow the pace of bricks and mortar investment and invest more rapidly in programming and student support that makes the greatest difference in a student's education. Of course, you can't put a name on that. Students are citizens with a right to expect an affordable education. Consider the average indebtedness of the average student. In the case of the students, I would say all levels of government must look at the indebted position they are placing our young citizens in. They are the future of society moving forward. There is a real danger of post-secondary education becoming elitist. It is time for the university to recognize that we are human assets, not resources. We, like those inside this building, own this institution, and it is time they recognize this. We are taxpayers, and therefore you could say that we are part owners of this social undertaking called education. The administration must recognize that they, like staff, faculty, and students, are citizens, and the university represents a social contract to all citizens for the betterment of society. The humanistic core of universities established at their founding is in danger. It is central to the engagement of a critical thinking, contributing citizen. That is what a university is about. I say to them, open your ears and minds, and to end 6 unions, 1 voice, to be continued.
These are C.A.W. members coming up to support each other here. My speech is not so much a speech, it's more a story of an unfortunate set of circumstances that have been going on here for far too long. And here's what our caretakers have been dealing with for close to 2 years now. June 4th, 2011, Aramark takes over. August of 2011, Aramark holds a series of meetings with the caretakers called Skills for Employees. In these meetings, our caretakers are told the following. Family life is of no importance to Aramark. Caretakers are at the bottom of the ladder. Caretakers are thieves. Caretakers are uneducated. Caretakers dress like slobs, and caretakers are all overpaid. Obviously, the actions, the comments, it's broken the spirit of the caretakers here. We filed grievances. We had some opposition. We had some successes. The university forced Aramark to apologize. We felt it was forced. We know it was forced. We think it was insincere. Why we think it was insincere is because the issues keep happening. Some of these issues that are going on are, and I'm just touching on some of them, member's father-in-law passes away. Aramark tries to negotiate the bereavement leave. You're entitled to 4 days. Sorry, you don't get that. Maybe take 1. Do you really need 2? One of our members, yeah, Shane is right. One of our members comes down with cancer. She loses her hair to chemo. Aramark then asks for her to go get a doctor's note to prove the diagnosis, because she will need to wear a scarf, and the new uniform policy is no hats allowed. That same union member was not allowed to attend today's rally. We've signed many of our members off. She's our health and safety chair here at the university, and Melody, we're thinking of you. Not being allowed to come, it wasn't our choice, it was the employer's choice. Member is suspended and sent home after providing a doctor's note which outlines severe rash from the new uniform pants. The member was told to leave work immediately. This humiliated our member. She walked crying from the supervisor's office through the university to gather her things and then go home. A new low is reached here at the university. The Aramark manager of human resources comes running at one of our members, screaming and yelling at her in the engineering building. When it is discovered that witnesses are in the area, our member is taken down the hallway and the screaming yellow continues. She was not out of the hearing range, and the witness provided a letter. Then on October 15th, 2012, same manager is yelling at another member close to noon hour in University Center, in the packed University Center where everybody's having lunch. She's yelling and screaming at her because this member didn't say hello to her. She threatens to fire her. Witnessed by many students too, which provide their names, numbers, and verbal statements. Students are not allowed, or pardon me, students are not immune from the poor treatment by Aramark. We've been contacted by one student who says she gets no coffee breaks, she gets no lunch breaks, although the 30 minutes for her lunch break is deducted from her check. She's not paid for the safety course that she takes on company time, and she reports a hostile work environment. The university refuses to let the union advocate for the student. Disrespect turns into a threatening and potential violence in this workplace. Things are still escalating. The day after attending a training session for respectful treatment, an Aramark supervisor holds a meeting with his workers. The supervisor is very angry in the meeting and is yelling, pointing at and forcing workers to answer his questions. Supervisor utters a death threat to our member. The university refused to remove that supervisor from his position while an investigation took place. And as far as the union knows, nothing has happened to that man since.
Shame.
Issues like this are happening far too frequently, obviously. It's affecting our membership greatly. Stress is increasing, sickness, illness is increasing. People start to go into a survivor mode here. I think people have noticed that the campus isn't looking what it once used to look like. Feel free to complain. Our caretakers are doing the best they can, but our caretakers are now short 3 to 4 full-time members in every zone. Okay, except in the administration building. Issues are still going on, and people are still reporting supervisors yelling at them and stuff as late as last week, unfortunately. So again, how does a poison work environment affect workers? Stress levels rise, overall health deteriorates. We have members that report vomiting before coming to work because they're so stressed out here. Members report crying at work often. Members reported chest pains due to the stress. Injuries rise. Morale is 0. One member said he feels lower than snake shit working at the university. That's just got to change, you guys. Absenteeism soars and members quit. So if nobody cares about the human cost here, the numbers since Aramark took over managing the caretakers are alarming, and I'm talking dollars and cents here, so this will make a difference to students and taxpayers. Dollar-wise, the human toll is taking its toll on our members. So there's been almost 3,900 missed sick days in the first 10 months of Aramark taking over. That's a 350% increase in the year before. The numbers in the second year are more than the numbers in the first year. We've been asking, we've been begging, we've been grieving, we've been complaining, we've been talking, nothing is changing, it's getting worse. We need to make a change here. So if you add in costs for pension benefits, you get close to $1 million roughly in sick leave in a year. So the first $1 million of your students' tuition are going to cover our members because they're stressed, they're abused, they're sick, they're worn out. Caretaking is a very physical job. These people work very hard here. They deserve respect. So let's get this together. Let's right this ship. Let's make some serious changes here, and let's improve the workplace for the health and safety of our members, and for the sake of everybody else here at the university. Thank you.
Our last speaker for today, we have Sharon Alward. She is the president of the University of Manitoba Faculty Association.
If it's 6 unions and 1 voice, let's hear it! All right! We're here today to voice our concerns, our collective concerns to this administration. We know their actions are unacceptable. We're frustrated and dissatisfied. You just heard about employer of choice or top 25 employers. I don't know what they're talking about, but it's not where I work. They've disregarded and they've not acted on any of the feedback we've given them about rows and ors and the efficiencies. Instead, they're spending their time and their money and their focus on glitzy ad campaigns with trailblazers. You walk through the Winnipeg airport, you open the Globe and Mail. What do you see? You see pictures of children. That's not my university. My university is adult students and faculty and C.A.W. and CUPE. They're contradicting totally what they promote. They're more concerned about the external impressions they're making in the community and across the country than they are with our working conditions. And they're making choices about where they spend their money. What's innovative about making our jobs more difficult? How about ad-astra, ad-disastra, the destruction of community, walking all over campus, No community for students, no community for faculty, in buildings all over the place. The removal of desktop printers, how green is that? I don't know about you, but I work in St. John's and my School of Art is over by the Tier building, and I got to print a letter of recommendation over there and walk to the School of Art to pull it out so I can hand it to a student or put it in the mail. I don't think so. The expense reimbursement system, I do not concur. It's driving me batty, it's driving you batty. I'm hearing from academics all the time. They are frustrated, they are upset. This is taking time away from our teaching, our research, the time we spend with students, our grad students. No, we're supposed to look at an 80-page manual or try and get some support, and then our support staff say, Sharon, I'd love to help you, but I'm not allowed to. So I spend 2 or 3 days making phone calls trying to figure out what my questions are so that I can get this done. They've increased our workload. They don't care. It's regardless of the negative impact. Administration's reaction to the negative impact of these initiatives? They ignore us. They trivialize us. They tell us it's just growing pains. Or, as we get older, we get more resistant to change. You know, the administration brags about its employee benefits and its employer of choice rhetoric. Well, let me tell you, they didn't give those to us. They weren't a gift. Every one of those benefits, as pitiful as they are, was hard fought at the table, bargaining. And now they brag about it as if they handed it to us and gave us a gift. I don't think so. Talk about members' rights. The university is now, and this is like A.E.S.E.S and C.A.W, and UMPA members, UMPA academics are being dragged into meetings now, and they are told to account for their behavior without any information ahead of time of what the issues are. Can you imagine the anxiety? You're thinking back over your life thinking, what did I do wrong? They give us nothing. This is investigation by ambush. And the proposed faculty amalgamations. What's it going to mean for tenure and promotions? What's it going to mean to accreditation? What about autonomy? We're not getting any answers. We're just told we're going to do it and we're going to be 13 instead of what we are now. I don't know why. So across the university, working conditions are really deteriorating. Academics are suffering, the workers are suffering, and the administration is not listening. Let them hear you! So today we serve a collective notice to the University of Manitoba administration that they are making bad decisions and they need to be reversed. We want the administration to know that this campus belongs to the entire university community and to the citizens of Manitoba. We want to be heard. Thank you.